Greetings, Keechlings. Keechin Prime here with another My Hero Academia power-up discussion video. This time we're tackling Mashirao Ojiro, a bunch of O's, aka Tailman. And this is actually the second time I've done this video. Not due to outtakes per se, a lot more of those, but that I thought there was less I could do with the character because, I mean, he's just got a tail. It's a powerful tail, but I couldn't really think of anything super interesting until I started diving further into the Sun Wukong, aka the Monkey King, you know, the main character from the Journey to the West series, or not series, but folklore myth. And I was like, okay, I look into it and find a lot of things I could do with him. But before we get more into that, like, because I know he's based on that, he has to be. But moving on, we start off with the equipment, then I'll do super moves, and then some additional little things. First is the Tail Fist Gauntlets. These are basically almost the full length of his forearm. They are weighted MMA style training gloves with like concealed metal plating, like one over the finger area, one on the back of the hand, and then a bigger plate running almost the full length of the forearm. This will add like additional power when he does a punch, or say he's got to protect himself, so he's guarding. Simple but effective given his martial arts background and fighting style. Next is, I couldn't really come up with a good name that wasn't just Tail. Expect that a lot. Also Wukong related names. It's based on the chakram. Okay, from the Wukong myth, he constantly is being illustrated, and in some versions of the story he has this like little headband. It's a magical headband. What it was meant to do was like keep him in control, so it would like be like an enchantment spell was cast on it, and it would tighten on his head when a chant was given to it. So I didn't really think about using it in that sense at first. That was the first revision that I didn't have it. But I thought of, oh, what about like a little blunt throwing weapon that kind of looks like it? It would still be a chakram, which I haven't even explained what those are. They're a weapon made in the subcontinent of India. That's like the peninsula of Asia and everything. It like includes Pakistan, India, Nepal, and other countries. It is a round bladed weapon that usually has a hole in it. Sometimes it has a handle that goes in the center of it. It can be used as like close quarters weapon or a throwing weapon primarily, which is the way I used it in this particular case. Next we have the ratchet club, or ratchet cuffs, my bad. Similar in shape to the chakram. I thought, well, just make them bigger and have a ratchet function to them, where they, you know, like kind of a pincer like design bit to them. Have that voice activated, and he has a restraining tool, you know, like he's just fought a villain, knocks him out, and he's got a handcuff basically at his disposal, and there you go. Maybe have like some of them in various sizes so that, you know, not every character that he'll ever fight are going to be the same standard. Next we have Tail Ring. It's a large studded tail ring that goes near the end of his tail, so basically right past that tuft of hair that he has. And while it's worn, you know, when he hits you with his tail, it's going to cause more damage because you're being hit with a metal object. opposed to just his fleshy, thick tail. So that adds for additional damage, but it's also another blunt attack because he's a hero, not a villain, so he's not trying to kill you necessarily, though there is one attack that has a lot of potential damage to it that I came up with. Anyway, moving on to the final piece of equipment is the Wukong staff, inspired by, I don't even know how to pronounce the name, I may put it up on the screen somewhere. Essentially, it is a 4-foot long bow staff. It can be broken into 4 1-foot long sections that can make it easier to transport. Think Nami's Climatact, and there you go. But that's just to give him a bit like mid-range capabilities, because when all you do is martial arts, you're not going to have range on your side, so the chakrams in the staff are good for that. Give them a nice well-rounded feel. Next up we have the super moves. I have 3 of these. I didn't even have but 1 in the first draft, so yay. Revisions, they can be wonderful. But anyway, the first one is the Cloud Leaping Step. This is inspired by Sun Wukong's ability to walk on clouds. And essentially, this is not him actually walking on clouds for Ojiro, obviously. He doesn't have a quirk that would allow that. Essentially, given what we've seen him do with his tail and everything, I was surprised he had never done this as far as I'm aware. Correct me if I'm wrong, but using it to propel himself into the air, make longer jumps, higher jumps, because that tail has a lot of strength, and it would be best utilized in such a fashion, because his normal human legs aren't going to get him that far. But so yeah, use it kind of like a springboard, basically. And it, the inspiration, I had to work around it, obviously, but I thought it was a good use of the tail. Next is the Somersaulting Hammer Tail, combining the Cloud Leaping Step and the tail ring. This move starts off as a vertical jump using the Cloud Leaping Step, followed by a somersault, and then during the descent it causes he goes in for a tail strike using the tail ring, and it's going to be quite devastating. Blunt damage ain't going to necessarily save you from this one. That's the potential one that I was like, oh no, this could be a killing move, because I did that with Uraraka. She basically dies during one of the moves. But this one would be killing the opponent. He might become an anti-hero, folks. Anyway, and then the final super move is Speed of the Monkey King, or I thought to name it Monkey Speed, but that sounded even stupider. Anyway, Sun Wukong had a cloning technique. He would pluck a hair. Each hair would allow him to do various things, but it was commonly associated with a cloning technique. He would just make a clone of himself, and obviously the applications of that. But and then I decided to combine it with a tactic that Ojiro already uses. So this is an advanced version of that, an upgraded form, where he would use his tail to kind of push off from the ground to give himself a speed boost. So then using those attributes, so the tail jets him forward, say, and then combine that with some leg movements to further create shorter delays in between the tail giving him the speed boost. He could do after images, maybe. He would obviously have to do a lot of leg training, but it's something that could be theoretically possible. Not a lot of after images, because he's probably not going that fast, but it could be something that would maybe trick an opponent that's not that smart. And moving on to a final segment that's just for fun. Given his fairly lackluster quirk, I was like, why don't we see what the next generation, aka Ojiro's offspring, what they might be like if they, or if he finds a potential mate amongst some of his classmates. The first one is the obvious one that I think a lot of the fan base just kind of wants him to be with, and it's Hagakure, aka the Invisible Girl. I say aka a lot in this video, and I'm sorry about that. What really kind of got me on this ship, because I do kind of like it, was a comic that I found, and I'll post that on screen. But, itchy neck, sorry. It's kind of like years later, there's a UA class reunion, and Deku sees, that Ojiro and Hagakure have gotten married, and they now have a daughter. And he's like, you don't seem to have characteristics of either your parents' quirks. This is odd. And then all of a sudden, he just kind of gets like smacked in the face by something. And then he realizes she has an invisible tail. And it's kind of creepy. And then the other option is a more recent addition, because we didn't know her power just yet. We knew it as, I think it's lizard tail splitting? It's Setsuno Takage, where she can like split her body up into at least 50 segments as of the present storyline. But I thought, combine that with the tail, and then you have like a lizard situation where like the tail pops off as a defense mechanism. So like, say they never become a hero, they can like get away, like someone grabs them and then it's like, no, leave me alone, and they like just pop their tail off. By the way, have you ever seen what lizard tails look like when they're popped off? Like, they look like they have little feelers coming out at the end of them. I'll post a picture of that. Kind of reminds me of the sandworms from Beetlejuice. But I'm getting off topic. So yeah, I would like to just, maybe they could like, because like quirks get stronger with each generation, combining the attributes, she like has known sensations of what's kind of going on around her with the individual pieces. It seems like just they can't really perceive much more than maybe say heat and cold. But like, given if this is a stronger variant, maybe it can like send that information back to her in a more advanced way, for lack of a better term. I don't know. It just seemed like it would kind of go perfectly together in my mind, because of the whole like defense mechanism that lizards have. But anyway, I think that's about all I have to really say. Let me know what you thought about my ideas and whatnot, and let me know some of yours down in the comments, and like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and my Discord, links down below, and until next time, Keishlings, roll out.